Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are finally putting together the MCU Thanos Build-A-Figure from the latest Marvel Legends Avengers Infinity War wave of figures. We have Taskmaster and Iron Spider coming with the legs, King Cobra and Songbird comes with the arm, Captain America with the head, and then Proxima Midnight comes with the torso. Iron Man is not included on here because although he is part of the wave, he does not come with a Build-A-Figure piece. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get this Build-A-Figure put together and take a look at Thanos. So here is the MCU version of Thanos all put together here, and yeah, pretty imposing looking figure there. I do have a few issues with the specific pieces that I got in terms of I got a problem with the Infinity Gauntlet arm. I'll show you what that is. And I'm not a big fan of the head sculpt, which we'll kind of take a look at in closer detail once we do that. But yeah, it's definitely, with Infinity War being such a big deal with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think it was necessary to get a Thanos figure. I'm wondering if they're going to get us a reused version or a redone version for the second part that comes out. But anyway, there are no accessories for this Build-A-Figure, so let's go ahead and just jump right into a closer look at the figure himself. And here we are taking a very close look here at that head sculpt, and I'm not a big fan of this grin that they put in there. I think the likeness is good, but I just don't really care for that grin. It's just kind of goofy looking, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. You can see that when we get up close, they did, again, another similar paint job where the eyes up close look very odd, don't look very detailed at all, but from a distance, they do look better. But the sculpt itself isn't bad. Again, I think the likeness is good. It's well done throughout as far as the overall look and everything. So yeah, that's a minor gripe that I have is I just don't care for the expression that they put on him. I don't like that smirk. So maybe that's just me. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But going down the rest of the figure here, so we go down to the torso, and we can see that we have the molded lines throughout his arm. You get that fabric look there to his, I guess we'll call it armor, but his tunic or whatever you want to call it. Paint's not bad. Some overpaint going on there. Looks like I got a little scratch on one of his chest plates. On the back side, again, slight overpaint, not a huge deal. Going down even further here. Whoops, sorry there, bumped the camera. Going down even further, belt looks fine, came out pretty good. We do get this soft goods portion of the cloak here, so that is movable. I say cloak, it's, again, his tunic. We get this fisted hand, which looks just fine, looks like a fisted hand. And then, of course, the big guy here, we do have the Infinity Gauntlet, which obviously is what everybody is always looking at. And the paint on the gems came out, not bad for a mass-produced figure. Slightly off. It looks like they actually modeled in, if I can get it to focus again here for us. Sorry. It looks like they might have actually modeled in some of the different shapes of the gems, and they're not all the same shape. How about the green one here? How's that look? Nope. Yeah, not too bad. Looking at the Infinity Gauntlet, I mentioned I had a gripe about this, and this might just be mine, but this fist, like, I'm barely pulling on it, and there it goes. I cannot hinge this without this hand falling out, and I had a heck of a time even getting it to pour all the way back in there. So I do have a little bit of gripe about that, because the moment I try to do the hinge, oh, well, see, now, of course, I talk about it and it works. But when I was hinging it earlier, maybe just because I loosened it now, it still comes out very easy. So that is still kind of a bummer, though. But, oh well, what are you going to do? Continuing down, though, legs are just kind of a standard sculpt in terms of making it look like fabric. He's got these knee pads here, which again, we get some slight overpaint, but not too bad. And his boots came out just fine. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, well sculpted. Again, I'm just not a fan of that face sculpt, but the Infinity Gauntlet definitely came out looking pretty cool. And real quick, just taking a look at the scale, we can see here that Thanos is coming in at about 8 inches tall, so definitely a very large build-a-figure. And looking at the articulation real quick, we do have a head that can go side to side. His chin does hit the shoulder pad though, so it doesn't go all the way around without kind of turning it up. Not that you would have him facing that way anyway. His chin can get buried pretty far back. His head doesn't really go back because those shoulder muscles are definitely sticking up a bit there. His arms do come up quite a ways. Does have a bicep joint, single jointed elbow, which that arm with the Infinity Gauntlet doesn't go very far, and actually that one doesn't either. He does have the hinge rotation and the hinge, but as I mentioned, see now this one's giving me trouble again, but he does have the hinge there, but yep, like I said, that was my problem with this one. His ab crunch can go down, yeah, not very far, can go back, actually pretty far. He does have waist rotation. His legs can actually get pretty far apart. He can kick forward, not too bad. Backwards, not very far, and it's not because of the soft goods. It just seems to stop there. He does have a upper thigh cut. He does have double jointed knees, but I noticed again the top portion is a little bit stiff on mine, so I really had to kind of support that knee pad to move it. And then we do have, of course, ankle rotation and pivot as well as up and down, and it looks like I must have loosened something in that knee joint now, so not too bad articulation though. And for a quick comparison, here we have the MCU Thanos standing next to the recent Walmart exclusive comic book version of Thanos, so you can see there is a little bit of a height difference between those two. And here's Thanos standing next to all the figures in this wave once again, now that he is all put together, and you can definitely see his scale, especially with the other MCU versions that I stacked around him. Spider-Man coming in just about mid-torso, Captain America not even coming up to shoulder height, and even Proxima Midnight, the massive Proxima Midnight character, still even just slightly shy of being the same height. And that about does it for this review, everyone. And, you know, all in all, not a bad figure to add to the MCU collection, which was kind of my sentiments for most of the MCU characters in this wave. They were good additions. Whether or not they were really fully necessary, that's hard to say. You know, my issue with this particular Build-A-Figure is just, I mentioned the face sculpt being just that smug smirk that he has. Would have been cool to get something a little bit more universal, so that way if you are doing any kind of dynamic posing, especially if he's fighting, he's not just grinning like that. And then I had my problem obviously with the Infinity Gauntlet hand staying inside the peg, so that was the other issue. The single jointed elbow, it's something that's plagued our larger Build-A-Figures for some time. Your posability with them is somewhat limited. You mostly get sort of these preparing for battle poses as opposed to actually battle poses. And again, it's going to look somewhat awkward if you're doing any kind of posing where his face is exposed. If he's doing a battle pose, because again, that smirk will look sort of out of place with him doing anything, you know, action oriented. But you know, all in all, I'm still happy to get this guy put together, get him up on my MCU display. And again, I skipped Iron Man in this wave. I will get him eventually. That is something that my little mini review right now is I wasn't really that interested in getting him. And I'm just going to wait for a decent sale or something like that to pick him up. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this review. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? Leave a comment down below. Did you have any of the same problems that I did with any of the joints or any of the thing? You know, specifically, I'm curious if the whole hand in the peg thing on the Infinity Gauntlet is common or if it's just me. But anyway, guys, like I said, leave a comment down below. Agree, disagree. I always love to hear your feedback. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you like my content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching my video, and have a great day.